there was certainly an element of making my grandfather proud and honouring him by taking part in the award that has been so much of his life's work. And I definitely hope that I have made him proud.
Few people would guess that Lady Louise Windsor might secretly be one of the royal family's biggest game changers. She's the quiet granddaughter of Queen Elizabeth, raised largely outside the glare of public attention and without the trappings of a royal title. Louise spent her teenage summers working at a local garden centre and is now pursuing English literature at a Scottish university, blending into student life like many other 22-year-olds. But don't be fooled. She's far from ordinary. Lady Louise has been a princess since birth under King Charles, and in royal circles, whispers aren't about if she will claim her title. They're about when she will make her move and step into the spotlight. Her journey is far from simple. It weaves together her HRH title, which she has never actively used, a historic decision made at her parents' wedding, a promise from her mother, a legal loophole dating back to 1917, and a king who now finds himself relying on younger royals to take on larger roles in a shrinking monarchy. This is her story in full, and by the end, it's clear that Lady Louise's next steps could alter the very future of the British monarchy. To fully understand why Lady Louise's title is unusual, we have to dive back over a century, to the tumultuous year of 1917 during World War I. At that time, King George V faced a Europe in upheaval, where royal houses were losing power left and right. His own cousins weren't immune. The Russian Tsar had been violently overthrown, and the German Kaiser was fighting to retain his throne. In response, George V decided the British royal family needed trimming to survive. He issued letters patent, royal decrees with legal authority, restricting who could use the Royal Highness title and be called Prince or Princess. The rule was straightforward but gendered. A monarch's children automatically received the title, and so did the grandchildren, but only if they descended through the male line. That meant children of a king's sons were in, but children of a king's daughters were out. It was a rule that favoured men and sparked debates that continue to this day, but it was never altered. Lady Louise fits right into this royal puzzle. Born on November 8, 2003, as the daughter of Prince Edward, Queen Elizabeth II's youngest son, she automatically became a princess under the 1917 letters patent. She didn't need King Charles to grant her the title. It was hers by law. So why isn't she known as Princess Louise? That comes down to a bold decision her parents made before she was even born. When Edward married Sophie Rhys-Jones in June 1999, Buckingham Palace announced that any children of the couple would be styled as children of an earl, not as princes or princesses. Edward, unusually, didn't receive a dukedom on his wedding day, rare for a monarch's son. Instead, he became the Earl of Wessex, and the announcement made clear that his future children would be called Lady or Viscount, not Prince or Princess. Timing mattered. Edward and Sophie married less than 2 years after Princess Diana's death, a period when royal titles were especially sensitive. Diana had lost her HRH status after her divorce from Prince Charles, creating public uproar. In this context, the decision to forego the traditional titles for their children was seen as the most modern, safe, and publicly palatable choice. But here's a detail often overlooked. A Buckingham Palace announcement does not legally strip a child of their HRH title. The 1917 decree by King George V still stands. Louise and her younger brother James still hold their HRH titles. The family simply chose not to actively use them. Sophie confirmed this in a 2020 Sunday Times interview, noting that when Louise turned 18, she could claim her title, but she chose not to do so when the time came in November 2021. Still, the option remains hers. The story goes deeper than law. It's about radical parenting. Prince Edward and Sophie deliberately chose not to make royal titles a central part of their children's lives. They focused on raising them to live as normal people, preparing them for life beyond the royal spotlight. Sophie explained that their children would need to understand the value of work, responsibility, and independence. They grew up at Bagshot Park in Surrey, a royal residence, but far from the grandeur and media attention of Buckingham or Kensington. Louise attended local schools, had no constant security detail, and joined the Girl Guides just like other British children. She even worked at a garden centre before starting university, a simple, relatable teenage job. In contrast, her cousins, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, grew up fully titled with HRH privileges, constant attention and security, receiving public recognition as princesses from an early age. Louise, however, excelled in this quieter environment, and those who know her describe her as confident, grounded, and completely self-assured. Despite her normal upbringing, she's never far from the royal spotlight. At just 7, she was a bridesmaid at the wedding of Prince William and Catherine Middleton, impressing onlookers with poise and elegance. At 18, she stood with her brother and cousins at Queen Elizabeth II's coffin, showing quiet dignity and composure that commanded attention. She was reportedly Prince Philip's favourite grandchild, sharing his love of carriage driving, a sport he popularised in Britain. After his passing in 2021, Louise inherited his ponies and carriage and has competed multiple times at the Royal Windsor Horse Show, even earning 3rd place in the private driving singles competition. Her ambitions lean practical, not ceremonial. On her LinkedIn page, she expressed interest in careers in the military, law, or diplomacy, not in royal duties or charitable patronages. She wants to earn her achievements through hard work, training, and dedication. All of this places Louise at the centre of the current royal title conversation. Her upbringing and choices indicate she is not someone who will automatically step into the princess title. Instead, she has the freedom to determine her own path, a rare luxury in today's monarchy. King Charles now faces a challenge he likely underestimated. When he became king in September 2022, he aimed to slim down the monarchy, creating a smaller group of royals performing public duties to save taxpayer money and create a more streamlined royal family. His vision was clear: fewer royals, fewer costs, and more focus. But the problem? He's running out of royals ready to step up. Lady Louise, with her HRH title, independent mindset, and modern approach to life, is emerging as a pivotal figure in this equation. She represents both a bridge to royal tradition and a new, pragmatic model for monarchy in the 21st century. With her next move, whether she decides to use her title or continue quietly in the background, Louise could shape the monarchy's path for decades to come. The pressure is immense. The king's plan for a streamlined monarchy depends on capable younger royals stepping forward, but few are as grounded, disciplined and prepared as Louise. She's quietly watched, learned, and built her own identity, all while carrying the weight of centuries of royal history. As the monarchy adapts to modern expectations and dwindling numbers, Louise's choices could determine whether it thrives, reshapes, or fades in influence. In many ways, Lady Louise Windsor is the ultimate test of the monarchy's future. Will she embrace the privileges of her birth and step into public life? Or will she chart her own course, blending royal tradition with modern independence? Whatever happens, the story of this quiet princess reveals the delicate balancing act at the heart of the British royal family today. King Charles envisioned a focused, efficient monarchy, but even the best-laid royal plans can't account for a granddaughter who might quietly hold the keys to its future. Even the best-laid plans can run into unexpected problems, and that's exactly what's happening with the British monarchy today. While the idea of a smaller, more focused royal family sounded good in theory, in practice, it has created serious challenges. Right now, the main working royals include King Charles, Queen Camilla, the Prince and Princess of Wales, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, and technically Princess Anne, along with the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester and the Duke of Kent, though all of them are in their 70s and 80s. The younger generation hasn't filled in the gap either. Prince Andrew lost his royal duties entirely due to his connections with Jeffrey Epstein, a scandal that continues to cast a shadow. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stepped away completely from royal life, leaving fewer hands on deck, and the 3 children of the Prince and Princess of Wales, George, Charlotte and Louis, are still in school and far from ready to shoulder official duties. This leaves an alarmingly small number of active royals to handle thousands of public engagements, charitable responsibilities, and ceremonial appearances every year. It's not just about appearances. Patronages, official visits, and ceremonial events continue to pile up, and the strain is growing heavier each year. King Charles is now navigating his own health battles, having been diagnosed with cancer, while the Princess of Wales has also undergone cancer treatment. Princess Anne is 75, and the older royals simply cannot maintain this grueling pace forever. Royal experts warn that there are currently only 4 working royals under 70: William, Catherine, Edward, and Sophie. That's far too few to sustain the monarchy's public and charitable commitments. This is where Lady Louise Windsor quietly steps into the spotlight. Though she is not actively seeking attention, the monarchy's current predicament has inadvertently made her one of its most significant figures. As royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams notes, Louise is stylish, conscientious, and perfectly positioned to play a key role in the future, especially as Prince William prepares for his eventual reign. Fitzwilliams explains that when William becomes king, he will need reliable, capable royals to help continue charitable work at a meaningful level. And Louise, he believes, could be essential in supporting that mission. Other commentators echo this sentiment, describing the Edinburgh family as the royal family's secret weapon. They are hard-working, scandal-free, and deeply loyal to the crown, a rare combination in an era when royal missteps dominate headlines. The monarchy clearly needs someone like Louise, yet the bigger question is whether she will step up. Raised to value independence and currently focusing on her own career, Louise is charting her own path. If she chooses to support the monarchy in a more formal capacity, she could claim the princess title, along with the HRH prefix that has been hers since birth. But she is also carving a unique path that makes history in ways far beyond titles. In 2024, Louise took a bold step, joining the University Officers Training Corps at the University of St Andrews. This is not a ceremonial role or a symbolic gesture. The UOTC is an Army Reserve unit for university students, providing real military training. Cadets handle weapons, navigate challenging terrain, participate in leadership exercises under pressure, and learn tactical fieldwork, skills far removed from royal pageantry. Louise has already received basic Army officer training and holds the rank of Officer Cadet. In November 2025, she was spotted marching in full camouflage during the St Andrews Regiment's Stay Parade, a solemn event where military units marched to lay a wreath at the War Memorial. Eyewitnesses noted her focus, discipline, and professionalism, never breaking rank, always composed. Sources close to the family reveal that Louise genuinely enjoys her military training and is determined to serve her country in a meaningful way. What makes this even more remarkable is the potential historical significance. If Louise joins the army after graduating from St Andrews in the summer of 2026, she would become the first female member of the British royal family to enter military service since 1945. That year, her grandmother, Princess Elizabeth, played a hands-on role during World War II, learning to drive and maintain military vehicles, a pivotal experience she spoke about with pride throughout her life. Louise could now become the first royal woman in over 80 years to follow a similar path, blending royal tradition with real, earned service. There are even whispers that Louise might attend the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, the same prestigious institution where Princes William and Harry trained. This could set her on a professional military career, a rare path for royals who typically engage in ceremonial roles rather than hands-on service. And this directly changes the conversation around her title. A Princess Louise who cuts ribbons and attends charity galas is one thing, but a Princess Louise who has earned her rank through rigorous military training, mastered discipline under pressure, and demonstrated true leadership. That's entirely different. In almost a century, this kind of credibility could make the HRH title feel earned rather than merely inherited, reshaping what it means to be a modern royal. At St Andrews, Louise balances her studies and military training with a surprisingly normal university experience. She is currently in her 4th year studying English literature, having started in September 2022. Unlike the intense media attention that surrounded Prince William and Catherine Middleton during their university years, Louise enjoys a quieter student life, blending in with peers while quietly building skills that could one day support the monarchy. She has been described as friendly, approachable, and remarkably grounded, with no visible security detail to separate her from ordinary students. Alongside her studies, she continues rigorous military training through the UOTC and even participates in student theatre. Recently, she performed in a play called Dragon Theatre, showing her willingness to explore varied interests outside the royal spotlight. Louise has been linked to fellow student Felix de Silva Clamp, but neither has confirmed any relationship, keeping her personal life private as she balances education, training, and royal potential. Her calm demeanour and lack of involvement in scandals are striking in today's royal landscape. Even as the royal family navigates controversies and intense media scrutiny, Louise's steady presence demonstrates dignity and maturity beyond her years. She is on track to graduate in summer 2026, and after that, all eyes will be on the decisions she makes, whether in military service, formal royal duties, or other professional pursuits. To understand her potential impact, it's important to look at her family, the Edinburghs. Prince Edward and Sophie have become essential pillars of the monarchy, especially during King Charles's illness and other royal obligations. They are widely recognised for their reliability, discretion, and absence of scandal, earning the unofficial title of the monarchy's chosen couple. Louise is following in their footsteps in her own way, and her choices may very well set the tone for the next generation of royals. Unlike the Sussexes, who stepped away entirely from royal life, Louise has the flexibility to determine the scope of her engagement. Her current title, Lady Louise Mountbatten Windsor, could be limiting in certain formal settings. The HRH Princess title, however, carries weight and authority that would allow her to step into royal duties with influence and credibility. Many royal watchers believe that if she assumes a formal role, her title could quietly change to reflect the responsibilities she takes on, even without a grand announcement. Historian Gareth Russell points out that King Charles is open to adapting titles and duties to match the monarchy's needs, making it entirely possible that Louise could claim the princess title when she is ready. This mirrors the precedent set when Edward received his own title in 2023, which also impacted his children's styles and privileges. Louise's unused title symbolises something unique: the power of choice in the modern British monarchy. Unlike many royal family members, she has been allowed to live a life relatively free from the pressures of formal royal life. Her parents made a conscious decision to protect her from public scrutiny, giving her the space to pursue her interests, whether that's working at a garden centre, engaging in military training, or studying at university. Now, as she prepares to graduate, Louise faces a defining choice: continue as Lady Louise and maintain her independence, or embrace her title and step into the formal royal sphere. Each path carries its own significance. Choosing independence could signal a modern monarchy with fewer, more capable members, while taking on her princess title would reflect commitment to royal duty and continuity. It's also possible she could find a balanced middle path, graduating from St Andrews, possibly attending Sandhurst for military training, and gradually assuming royal responsibilities while maintaining her own professional and personal identity. Regardless of the title she ultimately claims, Louise has earned respect for her intelligence, discipline, and character. Her credibility has become a quiet but powerful asset to the monarchy, a figure whose presence contrasts with the sensational headlines that sometimes dominate royal news. She represents a new type of royal, capable, modern, disciplined, and deeply committed to service, whether that's in military training, charitable work, or public life. So, what will happen next for Lady Louise Windsor? Will she embrace her full royal title and step into the public eye, or continue quietly, building her career and military experience? Whatever the choice, her actions will have ripple effects across the monarchy, shaping how the younger generation balances tradition, independence, and duty. If you've been following Lady Louise's journey, this is a moment to stay tuned. The story is still unfolding, and the next few years could define not just her future, but the future of the monarchy itself. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden power of Lady Louise Windsor, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share your thoughts. Do you think she should step up and claim her title, or stay independent and carve her own path? Your opinion matters, and we'll be watching closely as history continues to unfold before our eyes.